Welcome to the Tech Sharmit podcast, where technology is not just news, but the roadmap to the future. This is a space where we explore the latest tech trends, AI, startups, gadgets, and the ideas that redefine the way we think. Leading this conversation is Amit Sharma, globally recognized as Tech Sharmit. A technologist from Bharat, Amit brings an Indian perspective to the global technology landscape. With deep technical expertise and strong industry insight, and for his contributions and impact within the global tech community, he has been recognized with several prestigious honors, including Google Developer Expert, Microsoft MVP, IBM Champion, and Planet Mainframe Influencer. Through this podcast, he shares practical knowledge, real-world perspectives, and globally relevant thinking designed to help you stay ahead in an ever-evolving technology landscape. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Tech Sharmit channel to stay updated with future episodes. And if you're looking to level up your skills, don't forget to explore the Tech Sharmit digital course book in the description box, where you'll find thousands of free programming courses curated to help you grow as a developer. So plug in your headphones and join us as we begin today's episode of the Tech Sharmit podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today I'm here joined by another very special guest, Caracal Keithrafferty, who is joining us all the way from United States. If I talk about Caracal, then he operates at the crossroads of technology, customer and growth. He is also one of the well-known IBM Champion, Secretary of WMCPA, and brings extensive hands-on experience in IBM RPGLE, full stack development, and enterprise manufacturing system. So in today's episode, we will talk about manufacturing technology, IBM's continued relevance, business-driven architecture, communication across leadership role, and how community leadership shapes the professional impact. But before we proceed further with this whole thing, I would like to thank Caracal for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us a bit about yourself.
Awesome. Thank you, Amit. Yeah, I'm really glad to be here. Really appreciate this and the fact that you are such a significant contributor to the community. I saw some of the information that you had provided to myself before. You have a whole lot of different resources out there, which is fantastic. You really are a shining example of what we want in the community. And so thank you for giving me a platform to express as well. It means a lot. So for some of my history, I've been on the IBMI platform for, I'd say, close to a decade now. I started at Gateway Technical College, which is one of the few IBMI and RPGLE focused colleges that are out there. So I got a very hands-on experience developing in a whole bunch of different programming languages and getting a good understanding for things like DB2 and how to do IBMI administration. But also learned how to use things like C# and have that communicate with the I as well. And beyond that, then I moved into a kind of position where I worked at a company called Cato Integrations. They're formerly known as Krangletech. So they have a bit of history in the space. And while there, I put on just hat after hat, just a bunch of different things each time. It started with a kind of like product development and delivering some level of professional services using RPGLE software development experience. Now, with this company, Cato Integrations, they sell the RPG-based toolkit, which is really fantastic to work for a company that is so. It's great to work for an ISV because they are really close to. They're like one of those bridges, we'll say, between technology and businesses, right? As opposed to working on just building screens or simply doing internal app development. This kind of role allowed me to touch on a whole bunch of different aspects of a business. So additionally, they saw that I was doing great there, but they were like, you know what? Let's see if we can get some better marketing for our overall system here. So after the probably year and a half of product development, I moved into that marketing capacity, did that for a year and a half, maybe 2 years or so. And that was still another different kind of experience when it came to having things being centralized to development, right? Because it's an RPG toolkit.
Yes, right.
That means I still have to understand what I'm selling. Right, exactly. So being able to communicate that to customers and then say, hey, here are the selling points of this, here's what makes it beneficial. And that was more of an inbound kind of experience when it came to things that would ultimately result in revenue.
Mhm.
And after that, our general manager had left. So at that point, they were like, wow, we need you now to move on to some more of the outbound side of things. So for about 2 years there, I then started communicating with customers more and more. We worked with people in the insurance industry, healthcare, and manufacturing. And that manufacturing point is when things kind of dovetailed into my current position where I'm at Friedman Corporation. So I'm helping sell an ERP package, and that is being sold directly to manufacturers. And from there, I got to work with companies that were in a more leadership position. And all these years, I had been working with something that was RPG specific. I had a software development foundation, and I had experience in sales and marketing, which all just combined into this amazing position where I was able to sell to customers and understand their needs very well.
Okay. So it's quite fascinating, like how your journey got started and the different roles that you have acquired throughout your journey. So I'm sure in the further go, like we are going to explore some of the best thing about IBMI ecosystem and also your contribution. But before we proceed into that, I just wanted to know one thing because you often describe yourself as a person who operated at the crossroads of technology, customer, and growth. So how did you end up in that intersection? And what pulled you there? Although, like you have answered, you shared few things about it, but I just wanted to know it in detail, like how did you end up in that particular intersection of this introduction?
I think a lot of it has to do with just loving talking with people and working with people. It's being able to, it's like when we're software developers, what we want to do is like, I want to be at the terminal, I want to work in an IDE, and I want to spend all of my time within that.
Mhm.
But I really like spending time with others and hearing what their needs are. And it's like based on having that love kind of aspect in life for the all the different things that are in the world, but also having it's like a love for technology and a love for people really
Yep.
work together then to make it so that you find yourself in a spot where you're like, you know what? Let's see if we can express this in some kind of way through a product, or whether that ends up being through helping a business grow. It, I would say that communication really helps with that a lot.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Like communication is something that is not only for the developer or BDA, it is for everyone. Like because this is the only way through which we understand each other requirement or we can contribute our side, right? Otherwise, like there might be some gap if you don't know the technical aspect or if you don't know the uh, if you don't know how to convert those technical stuff to the layman terminology. Because at the end you have to deal with the customers, so they are the person who will decide what to keep and what not to keep. So I'm 100% agree with this that this communication is a key for the team building and for a proper outcomes. Okay, so Caracal, moving ahead, let's talk about your another expertise because you have worked deeply in enterprise manufacturing and industrial organization. So what surprised you most when you first entered to the world of manufacturing and enterprise manufacturing?
Yes. One thing that was quite surprising was the absolute depth and breadth of it. There is never one single problem that you'll find across every single manufacturer. Like
Mhm.
every different means of production is going to be tailored and specialized in some kind of way. Where if you are doing something like cutting glass, it's going to have a lot of different needs compared to someone that is cutting lumber. You end up having people that need to extrude plastics versus form aluminum in some kind of way, like
Yeah.
for framing. I did find that the sheer variety was pretty surprising. Yeah, it's also the fact that these companies are so sophisticated, and they don't necessarily have that on the outside, right? It's when you are purchasing building materials, whatever it is for constructing a home, it's not
Mhm.
going to always be like you don't see the machines that make the magic happen while you're at Home Depot.
Yeah.
You get to see the end result. And, from that, it's like manufacturing can seem a little conservative on that end, but it's actually something that really is, it's got just so much happens behind the scenes
Mhm.
that makes it special. And that's where things like software are really necessary, I think.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, so fine. Now we will talk a bit about RBMI and RPGLE, especially in terms of 2026, because nowadays we all know that everyone is talking about AI. So in the era of AI, what do you think? Like why it is so important to teach IBMI and RPGLE in the colleges in the later years as well? So why it is so important?
Yeah, I'd say that the most significant aspect about it is that AI is ubiquitous. It is here and it's here to stay. A lot of people say that we're in a kind of that we might be in a speculative bubble, and I simply don't think that's the case. Like this past week, like even last night, I have been working in Claude Code, and that has these agentic capabilities to it
Mhm.
where it's able to do work on your behalf based on natural language that you give to it.
Yeah.
When it comes to the IBMI and RPG, these it's like the IBMI is the platform that we're working on, while RPG is the engine behind it that helps run things.
Mm.
I think that having AI to kind of motivate those and to keep them effective is going to be necessary, right? They form the infrastructure for a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
So having AI to accelerate development in that, it's like they are enterprise models, right?
Yeah.
It's like worldwide, it's um we had actually talked and said that, we're like roughly 12 hours away from each other, and
Mm.
yet we each in our countries have a very significant IBMI footprint, right? Like,
Correct.
what's your experience from what you've seen overseas?
Yes, right. I'm also agree on this point. Like when we talked about IBMI, people are aware, but they are not frequently utilizing the IBMI technologies. Like they wanted to learn, they wanted to merge it with some advanced technologies, whether it's Angular or Java, and they are also looking forward to integrate these platforms with APIs to build the better solution using IBMI technology because they also agree that it is a scalable and of course it is a secure system, right? So similarly, like things are changing rapidly here, and nowadays everyone is also trying to integrate it with AI, as you just mentioned about the models. So things are changing. So yeah, we are on the same page on this as well.
Yeah, yeah. So having that, like, it helps like add a multiplier to
Yeah,
whatever you're doing.
correct.
It's a pretty massive technology, certainly. And I think that it's if we don't educate people, and even beyond just the world of I think it's important to learn those skills because, for instance, we have the folks on the IBMI platform that many are retiring, and
Yes, that is
there
a
ended
big
up being,
problem.
yeah, it's there's this annual survey that a company called Fortra does,
Mhm.
and within that, they get rankings of what the most significant uh, concerns that IBMI shops have include. And for the first time in perhaps a decade, it's been a very long time, the largest issue is no longer cybersecurity. But this time, it's retaining skills.
Correct.
Like, if that's the big change that you're seeing, that's like, the writing's on the wall, man. It's like we need to address that because otherwise it's going to cause issues downstream
Right.
where if you're not training up your staff or if you aren't finding means of succession planning, then that's going to cause great struggles within your business. Like you
Definitely.
want to have that like firm stability.
Correct. Yeah, that's a massive issue because now, like in all projects or in all IBMI shops, people are facing this issue that yes, people are getting retired and the kind of knowledge they have, they are not able to transfer it successfully because like also like they need a proper team, right, to transfer their knowledge to provide all the necessities so that they can carry forward their legacy, or I would say the legendary. So that is a issue. But again, we can say that people, especially those who are recently graduated from the college, they have that potential. They can easily adopt the IBMI technology, integrate it with some advancement, and then they can carry forward this best platform in order to build their best solution for their customers. So for sure, it's an issue, but we have solution for that. We can train the IBMI folks to build a better solution. So that is what I think you will also agree.
Do you think there's like any like risk for students coming in? Like what's stuff looked like over in India for that for recent graduates? Are they like, are they're at the forefront of technology. They have new technology that they can use, but is it, AI it's just so big, man. Like it's like, I worry for students sometimes, but I also see them now having new tools that they can use that will make them just that much better.
Correct. Yeah, so in my perspective, what I feel like when we are going to show them a typical green screen, right, the emulator, they will feel that no, this is something very old thing. But if they are provided with proper VS Code and proper editors, they will feel that yes, this is a system and it is a great system. And once they start working on that platform, IBMI platform, using modern tools, and when they got an opportunity to interact with APIs and AI, so they will feel no, this is not an old technology. It's a secure technology that they can adopt and they can contribute it. So that is one thing I observed, that if you are still focusing on the green screen or the old thing, they might distracted from IBMI technology. But if they are provided with the right set of tools, they will enjoy it and they will create a great projects there as well.
Yeah, yeah. I can't help but imagine it's like, if you're working on Windows, the first time you see PowerShell or
Yeah.
the command terminal, same vibes.
Right. Yes, it's a similar kind of thing. All right. Okay. So now, Caracal, moving ahead, let's talk about some misalignment. So, what do you think? Like, what's the one internal misalignment you see repeatedly when you are working with enterprise vendor that quietly kills the momentum of the entire process, and like how you are going to fix that kind of issues?
Yes. Yeah, I do believe that the primary concern comes from internal teams not being aligned on the same kind of uh, plan, we'll say. It's if you have too many cooks in the kitchen, as the speech goes, you have someone from, say, your consulting aspect is absolutely overburdened and not able to take on the customer's needs. Whereas you have the customer themselves having a general idea, they know what they want, but they don't know the steps to get there. And then
Mm,
having a balance between the two, you can very often like see where things fall between the cracks. As if it's not even if the consultants don't have time, it's like having enough different people to work on something, but without it being an overburdened project. Because the more people that you have on it, the more that can, of course, introduce new ideas, but it
yeah.
can come at the cost of some kind of scope creep, where it's like if everyone's pitching in and saying, hey, we need this to happen. Oh, look, this is going to, if we have this button activate when you let go of a click versus press a click or something, really innocuous like that. It's having a narrow specified band of things that you want to happen within a project can really help it. Like, especially when it comes to things at the scale of manufacturing. Because when you're working with these companies that have such variety and difference in their needs, it's like they want to try anything and everything possible to
Yes.
help their business thrive some kind of way. But it's also like, I'm sorry, you gotta, it doesn't always just exist there it doesn't grow on trees.
Right.
Yeah, I will say that it's not that people have bad intentions, but they often just there's some level of misunderstanding, we'll say, within the overall project development process.
Right. Okay. And if we talk about your overall experience with different leadership roles, like what do you think? Like what's the different about communicating with CFOs versus CTOs, especially when we are working with a manufacturing environment? And how do you actually adopt these kind of communication skills in the real time? Because everyone has their own mindset, everyone has come up with different educational background or the kind of experience they guys have. So how do you adopt these things?
Yeah, yeah, I think the best thing at the outset is to kind of level with them, right? Get an understanding of what their basic needs are, and it doesn't have to be something that's like complex right away.
Yeah.
That said, you do want to talk to people with the understanding that if they're in a C-suite or executive level, they don't just appear there. They need to have skills themselves that are often technical or systems based.
Yeah.
So having an understanding of what they want, like, and talk to them on their level is very valuable because
Mm.
they know that you're able to pick up like it's a baton race, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to get their business as profitable or efficient as possible. They hand the baton to you. You need to pick that up, carry it often in flight, and then bring that to your team so that they will bring that to the end, to the finish line. It's
Right.
having an understanding of technical capabilities really helps. And I do like that you were specifying like CTO versus CFO because
CFOs.
they're going to have different needs, right? A CTO wants to make sure it's like, is this going to break things? Is it going to hold up? Is it going to integrate well with the systems that we have in place? Like they want to ensure that whatever solution that you're giving them is stable,
Mm.
right? Whereas CFOs are trying to make sure that, they do have concerns about, they do want things to not break, but not in the same technical level. They want to ensure, like, is the money still going to flow from it? Is it going to affect, well, this is maybe a little more operations, but would it affect like their staffing capabilities or the predictability of the systems that they're in? They want to ensure that, you know, their it's like their people and financial operations flow, I've noticed, at least with CFOs, whereas CTOs have really that deep technological understanding, really,
Yeah.
of what affects technical risk and stability. So it's like if they have an issue that's really technical, being able to take that, digest it, and speak it back to them in a way that shows that you understand really helps them establish trust with not only you as a human, but also with effectively the company or org that you're representing.
Yeah.
It's to stick with only technical jargon. It's like I think that can be kind of inhibitive, right? It makes it challenging to move projects forward. And yeah, it's I'm kind of curious, what's your experience been? When you've spoken with people that are at this highly technical level, what are some of the patterns that you've noticed yourself?
Yeah, so when I personally deal with such kind of people, like who are having a technical skills and they are at the leadership role, so one thing is for sure, like never try to understand, like never show that you understand the whole thing. If there is any kind of doubt or if you want to double check anything, just go upfront and ask that. Because sometimes developers or the team, what they do, like they understand, oh, okay, I will do this, but that is an issue because you are like just showcasing that you know everything, but it is not right thing. Once you start questioning the things, they will come forward and they will let you know the exact requirement that yes, this is what we want to achieve, and then you can suggest the better solutions as well as the alternatives. So that will they will also relate the alternatives and they will select. Now they have the options, right? So they can select the best one which they want to build for their organization. So one thing that I always prefer, like there should be a proper communication. If there is any doubt, go up front and ask the questions. If there is any suggestion, please come up with suggestion, because if you are just saying yes to their solution, it's not the right thing. You have to come up with some best
Right.
questions and suggestions.
Yeah, because you want to make benefit from both of your
Yes.
expertise when you're moving a project forward.
Correct, right, that is the thing. Okay, so Kara, like you also have hands-on experience on IBM RPGLE and also the full stack development. So what do you think? Like, how does being technically fluent change the way customer engage with you? Like, does it impacted anything after you got the proper hands on these technologies?
Yeah, yeah, it kind of goes with what you just said, where it's like it changes the tone of the conversation because you're then able to speak their language in some kind of way. They don't just discuss the basic requirements of things. They
Correct.
say, and then they say exactly what they need, right? Because they can then like help, kind of like we were saying earlier, they help narrow the band of
Yeah.
what exactly a project is going to require in the end, because you're doing discovery with them to say, hey, what's okay, now that you've told me that this requirement is well defined, that helps inform what further ones are going to be down the line. It helps really define the rest of the project when you get these real clear points. And I
Correct.
think technical fluency is something that can really benefit and kind of ensure that that happens, right? It because companies they like it if you are working there, they'll often be defensive, right? Because they know that you're a business and that your business wants to earn money.
Hmm.
So, with them being a business as well, they want to retain their money as
Correct.
much as they can before purchasing something. So, to have a clear understanding from both sides helps it so that they know that they're getting the best ROI for their purchase. And they also know that what you're delivering to them fits their needs exactly.
Correct.
Because really, it is very collaborative.
Yes.
And it's just like they trust you more. It's like I think trust is really, really important. Like you need to be trustworthy for people to have faith. It's
Hmm.
like to just be someone that speaks out of hot air, it doesn't really do much.
Right.
It's to have to have it so that, because trust is like a feeling that sits deep inside. If you have doubt on the success of a project, that eats away at you. It's like you want to have something that's like, you know what, this is reliable, this is stable. I think that this is something that's going to help us.
Correct. Yes. Okay, all right. So now let's talk a few more things about IBM ecosystem, and then we will switch the gears to the next set of the questions. But before that,
Okay.
let's talk about the misunderstanding. So, what do you think? Like, what's misunderstood about IBM ecosystem by modern tech leaders, and why does it still matter so much, particularly in the manufacturing domain?
Yeah, yeah. It's I'm gonna say a dirty word, AS400. That's the term that a lot of people just get all up in arms about because
Yes.
you'll be talking with tech leaders and you'll say, "Hey, we've got the IBM OS 7.6 on a Power 11 system, and then they'll be like, wow, that sounds pretty awesome. But if you say, hey, we've got this machine that is foundationally on green screen and it's able to do a bunch of stuff, then they read it way differently. They'll say, oh, that's green screen. Yeah, that's the application system 400. I've heard of that. Yeah, isn't that legacy? And it's like, no, 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 no. No, that's just when you have something like green screen, the I do think that the perception that people have, it's like it is really inhibitive. I
Yes.
think it has kind of prevented some aspect of adoption. And it's like I've once heard that the IBMI is IBM's best kept secret because this kind of mid-range machine that you have runs so many businesses around the world relatively lean.
Correct.
It's like you don't need very many staff in order to keep it running strongly and securely.
Right.
It's Yeah, and it's also really cost effective too. Like compared to at least some of the other enterprise level systems out there, like the cost of having an IBMI machine is not really it's yeah, I would say that some of these green screen perceptions with it are certainly a challenge. And you hear companies talk, they're like, all right, well, we're going to be switching servers to a different one.
Yeah.
And in that case, they try to deplatform, and it is often a long and grueling process that can cost millions of dollars that ultimately ends up just being a reconfirmation of why they should keep the IBMI system in place.
Correct.
It's like, what have you seen with it? What have you seen for companies where they say, I'm sorry, I can't keep this system anymore because I'm a new leader in the company. I have to make change. It's like, have you seen that go awry?
No, I think that is not a concern or that is not an issue. But one thing you just mentioned about the system that is like how do I paraphrase this? Like when you are working with IBM technology and you know that it is a very secure system and you have the system has potential to serve, right? But still, if you are believing those legacy things, if you still bound yourself with that particular emulator or green screen, then it will cause a loss. And for sure, yes, you mentioned one thing that it is a very cost effective. So comparatively, if you compare it with other enterprise system, you will find that yes, it is secure, cost effective, and also it has that potential to integrate with the modern technologies in the future. So that is why I think that is
Yeah,
very best system for the future.
yeah, I just love that you say that. That's, it is extremely future proof in terms of what it
Yes.
can do. Like when you're working in a pace environment, you're like, okay, I want to develop in whatever heck programming language I want to develop, and I want to build whatever system is out there. I want to use this type of DevOps,
Yeah.
or I want to use this type of uh, containerization technology. It's like yeah, it's so much is capable with it, expected and worth retaining or adopting into new. That is something that I would love to, you know, crack the case on is finding out what can be done to help more companies adopt the Power Systems platform. Because it's like it's stable in terms of its growth, but it's not at like this high level of new rates of adoption. It's like I figure that would require a bit more thinking, but it just seems so, I don't know, like it really does so much, and I would love to see it have greater adoption because that does kind of harken back to the whole aspect of what students need, right? It's like the technological landscape is what often defines the curriculum that colleges adopt.
Yes.
It's like if we're able to have more investment within businesses within IBM in terms of the IBMI platform, I think that that would really enhance and increase the level of adoption within colleges. Yeah.
Agree. Yes. Okay, so Caracal, although we have plenty of things, especially on IBMI technology, on which we can talk here, but we are short on time. So I just want to take a couple of questions
Oh,
more
yeah.
before we wrap up. And this question is
Yeah.
related to the support system because in everyone's life there is a support system. So looking back on your own journey, who are the key people that had a defining impact on your journey so far?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I am. What a lovely question. Yeah. This might be like shout outs or whatever you'd want to call it, but I have two specific instructors from Gateway Technical College that really did amazing things. One of them is Alan Pearson. I actually saw him recently on a podcast that's about IBMI. He taught a whole bunch of different coursework for us. And similarly, I will say that Saad Yusuf is, oh my God, he is just such an absolute star. The both these guys, I love them because they have humor and they have patience and they have domain experience when they're educating students, and it really means a lot with them. Otherwise, I'd have two other people that I'd say. One of them being Marina Schwenk. She is a fellow IBMI champion or IBM champion, but especially with IBMI. And she is the current president for the WMCPA user group.
Yes.
And she has been like a kind of mentor or supporter, I'll say, throughout my entire development. She has had my back in a million different ways, and she is just one of the most brilliant people out there. Uh, she is an amazing soul. And I'd cap this out with uh, a very dear friend of mine, Robert Orozco.
Mm-hmm.
He is the person that really introduced me to AI and said, dude, this is the thing that you need to learn absolutely as much as possible. And he has really just constantly pushed me to go on the bandwagon. And more, a bandwagon implies it's temporary. No, he has encouraged me to go on the complete journey into AI. He is really he has a strong character, loves developing things. We've worked together on plenty of projects, and he is really awesome. So I'd say, yeah, those would be the folks that have been the most impactful.
Okay, all right. Okay, so yeah, we have 1 more minute, and I just want to take one more thing. It's related to the place you belong from. So you are a proud citizen of United States. So what one thing about US or maybe the state from you come, one thing that you will that you wish to share with the rest of the world?
Yeah, yeah. So I'd say with the United States, we got a real go get 'em attitude, and there seems to be uh not a lot of guardrails, but a lot of forward momentum with everything that we're doing as a country. Whereas with the state that I'm in, Wisconsin, I will say that it is very dear to me. I love beer and I love cheese, and it is well known for both of them. So, but yeah, but in the end, I consider myself cosmopolitan. You know, I am a citizen of the world, and I'm here with everyone else, and we're all doing the best that we can to make our existence meaningful and purposeful. And I am happy to be a part of the whole human race because it's getting wild out there, and I think it's going to get even more interesting in the years to come.
Yes. Okay. All right, so yep, thank you so much, Caracal, for joining us today in this episode and for talking about IBMI and so many other things that will resonate with, for sure, that will resonate with the other audience. So it's a pleasure talking to you here, and thank you once again for being a part of the show.
Likewise, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.